Have you ever wondered how much pain a small child can carry inside? The kind of pain that turns every sob into an echo that makes the very walls tremble in the dark silence of Waverly Hills. That same haunting cry still lingers, a weeping that never paused. A sorrow that still breathes through the abandoned halls, but one question refuses to fade. What terrified that little boy so deeply that even death could not silence him? Stay until the end. Because the truth behind his endless cry is far darker than anyone imagines. This is Whisper from History, where forgotten voices rise again. Shadows gather over the long corridors of Waverly Hills as the story begins with a faint cry drifting through the hollow air, a sound so delicate yet so heavy that nurses once paused in their nightly rounds and whispered to each other about the boy who never slept. They said he was no older than 7, pale and trembling in a ward meant for the dying, his small frame wrapped in thin hospital linen, his eyes following every passing shadow as if searching for something. Lost something, stolen by the world long before he understood what fear truly meant. Some nights the staff claimed they heard a soft voice saying, "Please do not leave me," and though the words were gentle, they carried a weight that settled deep in the bones of anyone who listened. But this was only the beginning. Old records from the early years of the sanatorium speak of overcrowded rooms, endless rows of beds, and children separated from their families to prevent the spread of the sickness. Waverly was a fortress of isolation, and in its cold, quiet corners, the boy became a silent witness to suffering that no child should ever see. He wandered the hall when the nurses turned their backs, drifting like a small ghost between metal bed frames, the echo of his bare feet following him like a second heartbeat. Some insisted he never spoke, others swore they heard him humming a lullaby so sorrowful it felt like a farewell. Then one night his crying changed. It grew sharper, more frantic, as though he saw something standing at the far end of the corridor, something no one else could see. But what was really happening behind the curtain? A nurse later wrote in her private journal that she found him clenched around the bed rail, his eyes staring at the ceiling as if watching an unseen figure looming over him. She tried to comfort him, but he only whispered, "He is here again," before falling into a trembling silence that lasted until dawn. From that night onward, the crying never stopped, not even after the boy was declared gone. His bed was empty, but the sound remained drifting through the ward at the same hour every night, a thin, wavering sob that rose and fell like a cold breath slipping through the walls. The truth was far darker than anyone imagined. Some believed the boy had been abandoned by his family. Others thought he had succumbed to the disease long before help arrived. But a few whispered a different fear, that the sanatorium itself had taken hold of him, trapping his innocence within its crumbling structure, binding his last moments to the stones and steel of Waverly Hills. Visitors who walk the upper corridor today still speak of a sudden chill, a tightening in the chest, and the unmistakable sound of a child weeping from somewhere. Just beyond sight, a soft, broken cry moving through the darkness, as if searching, still hoping, still calling for someone to answer. And there, in the heart of the old sanatorium, the weeping continues, a cry that never stopped, a memory that refuses to fade, a boy whose story now lingers in every shadow of Waverly Hills. In the end, the halls fall silent again, but that faint, trembling cry still clings to the shadows, a reminder that some stories never find peace. If this story touched your heart, do not forget to subscribe to our channel, because more forgotten secrets are waiting for you. So visit our playlist now